welcome to the Songcast.com presentation on Break UCPK. Going to be your shoutcasting host, and joining me is nobody, because I'm going to be doing a solo cast, at least for this Game 1 here. And yes, that's what it is. It is Game 1 here in the Game Replays Invitational Tournament, best out of 3 series. Again, it's the quarterfinals to get things kicked off here. The top 8 teams have been invited to this tournament after a 5-tournament qualification series. The last 5 are actually around 6 weeks, is with a couple of breaks now, maybe around 7 weeks actually. There's been 5 qualification tournaments going on every Sunday, and in the end, the points added up, and these are the teams that we got. These are 2 of the teams that we got. In fact, this is the number 4 versus 5 matchup. You look at those numbers, of course, you expect this to be the most even. No, but all 4 series is great. We got Fnatic MSI versus ICE, INFS versus Wallin, and EG versus SK as the other 3 series. But we're going to go ahead and cover xFin versus dskb to get things kicked off today. So should be entertaining. Of course, xFin, a U.S. team, and dskb, the famed Southeast Asian sensations. And they are known for very aggressive and very entertaining play. xFin as well, honestly. Although not necessarily they kind of jump around a lot in the competitive scene. There's some points that seem to be really active and really competitive, and other points that kind of just die off. But they're definitely very competitive here, and should make this to be entertaining. They're using a couple of players, as you can see, that aren't tagged up xFin, but definitely have played with them. And I'm sure it was okayed, of course, by the GR admin. So it should be a lot of fun. There's a $3,000 prize pool total on the line. I believe it's $1,400 for first place. But again, this is just the quarterfinals today, then eventually the semifinals, and then, of course, the grand finals, which we will be doing coverage of all of it. Yay! All right. So with that said, the picks have already started. Let's go ahead and talk about the bands. As far as the bands are concerned, we got Flint Beastwood, Sandray, Soulstealer, Dr. Repulsor, Hellbringer, Bubbles, Thunderbringer, and Pharaoh. So those 8 bands right there. Again, 4 bands on either side. Nothing really standing out too much. You do got your Sandwraith band, Hard Carry. He's definitely been very active, especially really in the Southeast Asian section. Very popular, but honestly all over the place. He's just a very powerful Hard Carry. You know, even so, we've seen so many times, doesn't necessarily get a great start. All of a sudden, you leave him alone for 5 minutes, and it just seems like it starts to take off. He gets that Helm of the Black Legion, and then eventually a Mock of Brilliance. A lot of players like to do that, and then once he gets those 2 items, he is very difficult to deal with, depending on the team makeup and everything. So, yeah, he is banned here. Other bans, again, nothing really too questionable. Soulstealer, Flint Beast with a couple of those ranged carry heroes that definitely not banned all the time, but depending on who you're going up against, and in this case, they were banned. So, not really too much to talk about when it comes to the bans. All very, standard, nothing standing out really all too much. So yeah, let's jump into the picking phase. We got the last couple of picks looking to wrap up here for dskb Gaming. They already got a couple of interesting ones. We got one more to find out. What is their last pick going to be? But their first 4 so far, so we got Glacius, Behemoth, Corrupted Disciple, Defiler. Ooh, and that would be an interesting last pick right there. It's been a long time, honestly, since we've seen some solid Valkyrie play. And with 5 seconds left, right-clicking it, are we going to... Ooh, we are going to see Valkyrie. Cool. So, yeah, it has been a long time since we have seen a Valkyrie play here in Heroes of New Earth competitive play. And I know I am excited to see that. So, should be pretty entertaining to see Ninja Boogie currently, who is currently looking to play Valkyrie right there, and see how he plays it. Obviously an awesome skill shot hero. But yeah, so with those other pickups, so Defiler, I mean, again, we're talking about Southeast Asia. We went over this at the DYA especially. We saw this a lot. The Southeast Asian teams in that Garena area, it's a very popular pick for those teams over there. They love Defiler, and as a result, we've even seen Chu from EG play him a couple of times in some very big competitive matches and made him work out. So Defiler definitely has a presence. I mean, whether you want to use her for early game push or just massive team fight potential, she can definitely do both very, very effectively. The Corrupted Disciple, another really pick that we don't see all too often, honestly, but picked up here by dskb Gaming as their ranged carry. Now, when it comes to the lanes, that's going to be the really interesting thing. They have a couple of options, but I don't know. We could very possibly see a tri lane, but something tells me we're not. Probably a roaming Behemoth, if anything, is definitely a possibility. I mean, obviously the big thing that stands out is that, yes, they do have the one melee in Behemoth, But, having his fissure ranged stun, a lot of people like to consider him a ranged hero, especially for the early laning phase because of that fissure stun. So, yeah, they have a lot of lane potential. They could go many, many different styles. So really interested to see how Duskbin decides to go about this. Obviously, they're going to look at the Legion team's lineup in xFin and react to it as well, as I'm sure that they did with the picks. But so speaking of xFin now, let's hop on over to them and look over the their lineup. By the way, yeah, that's actually a good point to point out for people that may be having lag issues for the stream on Justin TV. You can actually switch the resolution or the quality of it, to lower quality. It starts on a 720, I believe, for most people, but if that happens to be lagging, you can lower it to 480, 360, stuff like that. So, try changing that around and perhaps just restarting and try to get a better connection to the stream itself, and, hopefully it works out. Again, if it doesn't work out, as always, you can check it out on VOD, which will be uploaded later tonight, tomorrow, whenever. So, with that said, Legion team lineup, let's go over them. As far as the Legion team is concerned, so we got Forsaken Archer, Bombardier, Myrmidon, Slither, and Hammerstorm. Hammerstorm is the last pick right there, picked up by Mario. It's me and Mario. He is their last hero pickup. Very interesting pickup right there. But they are going to be running the very powerful Myrmidon support tri-lane, Forsaken Archer, and Hammerstorm. Very interesting. That is not a tri-lane we really see at all, especially with Forsaken Archer as a carry. Definitely not a tri-lane that we see. In fact, Forsaken Archer, we got a couple of heroes in this game, the more I'm looking at it, that we just don't see all too often in competitive play. But both of these teams definitely doing a little bit of a difference here. Okay, there we go. Forgot to do the auto skip pause again. My bad. Anyway, so it's a quick one. But yeah. So what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so Forsaken Archer, definitely a different style carry hero that we have. It has been a while since she's been active. I mean, we have seen her in the past be very, very powerful, of course, but it's been a while since she has been active. So really interesting here to see these couple of pickups. Slither is another standout pick. Now, Slither has been really permaban status for a lot of teams lately, and so it is kind of cool to see him here picked up by xFin. He's right now soloing the bottom lane. Look at this strategy from xFin, trying to start off with a mid-gank, but Defiler playing very, very passive, knowing that something is up. In fact, they did have a ward of sight here. That helped. So Defiler was able to see them coming, of course, and the gank attempt failed, the try-gank, and so they're going to head up to the top lane, where they're going to be going 3-1 versus Valkyrie. So Duskbin Gaming, they did decide to go to tri-lane themselves with a Corrupted Disciple tri-lane. Very, very interesting. But both teams in the end up matching themselves up 3-1. So, yeah, definitely expect those carries to get a massive farm. In terms of the one player, we got, of course, Slither down here in the bottom lane against Valkyrie up here in the top lane by herself with that leap ability. Obviously you can escape very effectively. As far as Slither is concerned, just can really harass quite a bit. Needs to be careful with those wards, though. Obviously they do give a good amount of bounty, and you don't want to give the opposing carry even more gold than he's already going to get. Oh, Bombardier might be in a little bit of trouble right here. Here comes Behemoth and Glacius. Slow coming up. Bombardier playing very aggressive. A little bit too aggressive, though. Out comes a fissure block. Gonna use a health potion right here. Actually going to survive a little bit right now. Defiler's still chasing. Oh, man, down to 15 life. That's going to be the last auto attack, and a bloodlust kill comes out for Duskbin Gaming. So great start for them. Excellent fissure stun to get things kicked off. Complete block of the lane right there, and Bombardier nowhere to go but forward, and ends up resulting in his death. So job well played by the Duskbin support, who were actually, they thought they'd gank mid on their way to top, it looks like. And that's where they're going to match up. So they want to be tri-lane versus tri-lane. They decide to send their two support to the top lane and to go with this Valkyrie. Valkyrie going to stop right there on the magic cart. And then prevent the stun, of course, but just take the magic damage. So yeah, we are going to be having a 3-3 trial, and of course that leaves Corrupted Disciple to go 1-1 versus Slither. Now that should be, obviously Slither's very happy with that now. We're a lot happier of the situation, and it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on him, because again, there's been a reason why he's been permaban status. He's has the tendency to have very powerful lane control, especially in a 1-1 situation. And in fact, you already see right here, pressuring Corrupted Disciple a lot, dropping him to half-life between the toxicity of the wards and just the spam of the auto attack. Meanwhile, at the top lane, we do have action up here. Behemoth going to be taken out. Valkyrie caught in the middle of them. Going to use her call to Valkyrie, though, wants to finish off Hammerstorm, and will do so. Going to avoid the wave field right there, or weed field, excuse me, from Myrmidon with Behemoth the leap and is able to get away herself. So that ends up being in the end, a 1-for-1 exchange overall. But at the top lane, good job right there, picking up the kill on the Hammerstorm. As Defiler actually goes down in the middle lane not once again. She did not get taken out yet. But, Bombardier was able to take her out this time by himself, actually. What is going on up here? Myrmidon's being chased back. Valkyrie throwing an auto attacks. Glacius not going to be able to stay close enough, though. Glacius is still level 1, but, of course, as is Behemoth, both of them playing the roamers early on. They set up the Bloodlust kill, though, at the middle lane. They did their job there. And, of course, they had to walk all the way over to the top lane. Definitely a lot of walking right there. But Valkyrie is going to take care of most of the experience and the creep farm, obviously. In fact, let's look at that. Is she ferrying the bottle? Yes, she is. Okay, it only gives 2 charges now, of course. But still, worth it in several cases, especially in a side lane, where you want to let your mid lane get rune control. And in fact, Defiler, speaking of that, it's going to be able to bottle up a haste rune right here. So they're now pushing in the bottom lane. Again, we're talking about lane control and just push potential. Good Slither players can do this. Harass quite a bit and then spam those wards down. Get an awesome push going. So Duskman definitely needs to be a little bit worried about that. Especially on top of that, what is Corrupted Disciples farm looking like now? 14-1 compared to a 17-12 Slither. Yeah, Slither has really stepped it up, especially since that change, obviously. And Corrupted Disciple, it's hurting him. So this is unfortunate here for Duskman Gaming. And, it kind of makes you think in the end, was it worth making this overall change? If anything, it might have made more sense to have these guys just play pure roamers, because up here, they're really not getting much experience anyways. As again, I missed the middle action. I apologize. But Defiler is able to take out, actually dives on top of Bombardier, it looks like, with the haste rune. And is able to take out Bombardier. Myrmidon was there. It just did not come in time, unfortunately. Ported in. Could not help his teammate, though. But yeah, the point I was going back to, Behemoth and Glacius might have been better off just playing pure roamer and, going back between all 3 lanes. But they've made the adjustment, and they're really just sitting up here in the top lane. Been doing a lot of jungling, a lot of pulling. But again, you just see them both hitting level 2. And then now we might see an initiation up here. Forsaken Archer going to catch Behemoth in the jungle. He's going to throw the finish stun, trapping actually Hammerstorm a little bit. No, but Valkyrie caught on the other side as well. The crippling volley hits. Oh, the arrow just touched by Forsaken Archer. And that 3-second rape for the Skeletons. There's the hammer now on the Glacius. One more auto attack should do it. Can he stay in range? Of course he can, despite the freeze. Down goes Glacius as well. And again, just it's more Doom presence there for the Hellborn team. It is just not working out for them so far. Lack of levels, and now tying a couple of times here. In fact, both of them tying in Behemoth and Glacius. And now we actually have Hammerstorm. He's looking to set something up on Defiler once again. Going to run in right here. Look to land a hammer just out of range. There we go. He finally gets in range, taking a lot of tower damage. So Bombardier ultimate on top of the sticky bomb. Defiler dropping fast. She activates her ultimate. Just not enough damage, though. And a good job right there. Set up. Korok getting credit for the kill on Bombardier and setting that up. So job well done once again from the Legion team. Doing a good job of roaming themselves and setting up some kills. Now 5-3 in hero kills in total, 6.5 minutes in. So speaking of, coming to the bottom lane perhaps and stopping Slither a little bit, we do have a Behemoth down here looking to apply the pressure onto the Slither. Corrupted Disciple sitting on in front now, knowing that he has that teammate with him. However, Behemoth is porting away right now. And as soon as Slither realizes that, he'll be fine. Meanwhile, because at the top end, there's some action going on. Looks like Forsaken Archer already going down. Myrmidon wants to finish Valkyrie. It's going to be close. Yes. Gets the last auto attack off. Gets the kill. And in fact, it ends up being a humiliation for Valkyrie. But of course, Myrmidon goes down as well. But hey, take somebody with you, especially if it's Valkyrie at that top lane. And that he did. So in the end, works out fairly well for them. But it was a 2-for-1 exchange, however, for Duskman Gaming's advantage. Back at this bottom lane, we got Ring of the Teacher already finished on Slither. Go with this bottom. Ooh, Forsaken Archer and Myrmidon both porting down here. They want to put some action on Corrupted Disciple. Pick up a kill on him, but he's going to fall all the way back to the tower. He saw something. And he's going to play very, very defensive. Bombardier diving on top of Defiler right here in the middle lane. Misses a sticky bomb. Needs to be careful now because the finish stun's coming out. Has a double damage rune. It's not going to matter though. He gets completely trapped once again. Oh, don't tell me he's going to... Okay, he's not going to get away. Glacier's trying to slow him enough to try to get a kill for Defiler, but the freeze is going to end up killing him. But hey, they got the kill. So Bombardier again. It's the second time now. He plays a little bit too aggressive at the wrong time and ends up getting caught by the Hellborn support. So Actually tying it up at 6 hero kills apiece right there is the Hellborn team. So Korak, actually, that is his 3rd death of the game as well on Bombardier. So it seems like he's been doing, I mean, he has been doing fairly well. With those 3 deaths obviously hurting him a lot compared to those 2 hero kills. Bottom tower push coming in now from the Legion side. So there's wards out there. Myrmidon charging out in front. The tower's going to be going down. They also caught Corrupted Disciple right there. And down he goes. Excellent initiation from the Legion team. Take out the tower. Take out Corrupted Disciple. And your job is done. You can now fall back happy. Unless they want to continue pushing. Slither, I mean, Slither definitely can. But the rest might be best to just go back to your lanes and continue to farm at this point. But Slither is going to stay pushed up a little bit, actually putting a little bit of pressure on Behemoth, who is spotted off to the side with those wards. That's just another, obviously, a very powerful thing with the Toxin wards. Using them for vision purposes, using them to know when someone is going to look to initiate on you. I mean, it's just, again, goes back to the lane control. One of the best lane control heroes in the game is the Slither. And we're seeing it here throughout this game once again. Now pushing it, and Corrupted Disciple was not ready for that. He charged in, balls to the wall, used his overload right there, and ended up running into 4 Legion players. Here we go, action continues. Slither ultimate going off right there. Defather comes in though, feeling her presence, and she's going to dish out a lot of damage. Slither somehow manages to get away with 5 life. Are you kidding me? Is she really going to get away? Hammerstorm standing in the front. He might take the fall for his teammate. No, he's going to take some damage. Not enough for the kill. The Ghosts are chasing. They're not going to stay in range, however, and they are still on the run. Oh, he dodges the arrow right there. It's not going to hit anybody. Valkyrie now is the one that's into some trouble. Oh, but the call of Valkyrie finishes, but Hammerstorm comes back in and finishes Valkyrie right there. Bombardier also low. Holy crap. xFin somehow manages to completely gain the advantage there and stay with the advantage and comes out on top of that fight. Big time, but wow, look at the Legion players' lives. Sandray, Thunderbringer, anybody use your ultimate, and you're going to have a quad kill right there. But alas, Duskman does not have any of those heroes. That was crazy. A lot of action happening up there, and it just so managed that xFin stayed barely alive to actually win that fight. Oh yeah, that is actually a good point. There was so there was the patch recently. So I was referring to the Vision. It isn't. It used to be, I think, 1,400. Now it's actually dropped to 300. So yeah, that is true. The vision on the wards, it definitely is a lot less, and obviously you can't use it nearly as effectively. But by the way, we do have action up here. Oh, what a hammer that hits all 3 players! They're in a lot of trouble. They get completely caught right there. It sets up a perfect crippling volley, and it ends up being a hat trick for xFin. That leap ended up screwing the Legion or the Hellborn team right there because she leaped right next to her teammates, and the stun hit all 3 of them. Ouch, that sucked for Duskman Gaming. And here we go with xFin once again, going to keep applying the pressure because they can here at the top lane. 4 of them are here. Bombardier's busy being in the middle lane, trying to actually protect the middle tower. Port coming in, not going to be nearly in time though from Myrmidon, as Defiler is able to get her job done of taking out a tower. Magikarp going to be chasing, avoids the Weed Field and the Magikarp stun, however. Good job right there. Definitely not easy to do that. But so yeah, Defiler doing what one of several things that she does very well, of course. Oh, initiation on a Forsaken Archer right here, but Hammerstorm and Slither were nearby. I don't think the Hellborn team was anywhere. They did not realize that at all, and yet again get caught out. Hammerstorm, though, he might, he's just Behemoth with the auto attack. Oh, there's Corrupted Disciple. You're going to go down due to that Electric Tide. And good job right there from the Hellborn team. But yeah, Legion side, xFin getting some nice kills here, back and forth. Oh, Bombardier chases Defy there into the jungle, and actually ends up finishing off her as well. And all of a sudden, xFin is up 17-8 in hero kill advantage. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I mean, it really was a very even back and forth game, through 5, 6, 7 minutes. Of course, that's how a lot of games start, I guess, but then all of a sudden, xFin, they just started to jump out ahead, between movement. I I don't know. It's again, you look back at the beginning of the game, dskbin's decision to send Behemoth and Glacius up top. They set up the Bloodlust kill in the middle lane. It was great, but they went all the way up to the top, and they spent a good amount of time up there, really not doing too much. Of course, they were doing creep pulls and whatnot, but in terms of kills and action, really wasn't too much going on. And because of that, Slither was able to take advantage of the 1-versus-1 he was in and really push in that bottom lane quite a bit. That's chasing somebody. That's going to chase the father. She avoids the... No, the wheat field! The fissure stun pushed her back into it, as well as the crippling fall. And she uses the bottle, however, and she's barely going to survive. That was really close. Now we have Bombardier, however, putting down the bombardment and trying to do some damage themselves. But so far, the Hellborn team, everyone is still up and getting the kill on Myrmidon. So actually, in the end, the father somehow managed to live there, despite getting caught in a pretty bad situation. But, of course, had the tower to use to her advantage. She does have her ultimate ready, by the way. Getting ready for a team fight. You see another fissure blockage going out there from Behemoth. Gonna head up to the bottom lane though, or maybe back to base. I guess she might just be going all the way back to base. In terms of farm, I haven't really talked about that too much. The father's farm is around 250 gold per minute. Then you got Corrupted Disciple, of course, following at 230. Compare that to the Legion team, though. Between Forsaken Archer at 383 and Slither at 355. Obvious advantage there. Here we're going to hit Bombardier out in the jungle. Call the Valkyrie also coming out, but the double stun on the Valkyrie. The sticky bomb landing. Corrupted Disciple tries to come in from the back, and he takes a lot of damage, though. And he's going to drop Valkyrie. Oh, my, not get away. Boom, dust Dishonor, and it's just too much damage. Can knock it out of there. Weedfield hits Glacius right here, but he should be fine as the Legion team is falling back. You see that to Father Ultimate again. Very scary, doing a lot of damage. Fissure stun coming out, but more of a blockage there. And doesn't... Oh my god, Defiler just got wrecked right there. Wow, and look at Myrmidon coming in from behind, takes out Behemoth, Corrupted Disciple drops as well, and all of a sudden, basically a genocide right there for xFin, and they're also going to get the tower kill. That is Boom Dust, 3 Boom Dust for you, or 4, excuse me, 3 or 4, whatever, how many of the maxes? Yeah, 4 charges, Bombardment, a Sticky Bomb, that was everything right there. Defiler just got bursted down like crazy. And xFin again in a very good spot. Oh, Bombardier, you're in trouble, buddy. Slither's going to stick around trying to prevent the kill, but that's not going to happen. You saw him try to react at the last second. He just wasn't able to do so in time, though, as wasn't able to get out of the way of the arrow. So good attempt by Slither, but of course really just not much you can do in that case to save his teammate. But Slither, by the way, from the air, he has his Helm of the Black Legion. Of course, they're bringing the Teacher's Steam Boots finished. Looking good, looking good. So, yeah, as we're talking about just before that fight, I mean, the gold farm, obviously, huge advantage here for xFin. Now up to a 9,100 gold lead, as well as an 8,000 experience lead at this point. Look at the Legion team items. See if there's anything stand out over there. Steam Boots on Hammer Storm. We're going to talk about Slither. What do we got for Forsaken Archer? Ooh, she's got a Blessed Orb already. Early. Going to work on that Geometer's Bane. Ooh, that's actually another patch note change. Geometer's Bane is now, of course, it used to be 500, and I believe they raised it to 1,200. Double check on that. Yeah, they raised that pattern to 1,200 gold, so 700 gold increase. It's definitely a very interesting change, and it's going to have an effect on a lot of games, because obviously Geometer's been a very popular item, especially for those range carries. So we will see, but it doesn't look like that's going to deter Forsaken Archer in a game like this from going for it. Really, as expected. I mean, her farm is just off the chain, yo. 425 gold per minute, 8, 1, and 6 hero kill score. Just managing to get all those last hits on the heroes. So Myrmidon going to run into Behemoth right here as well as Corrupted Disciple. They get the tower kill. Bombardier ultimate going up. Behemoth dropping fast. He gets in spot though to land his ultimate. Actually, pretty good placement. Ends up dropping though. I thought it's all Immortal right there. No one's immortal yet, though, but Forsaken Archer might be going down right here. Yes, there's the Electric Tide just in range. And down goes Forsaken, so a payback is a bitch is right there. As Glacius, though, he gets picked off from Hammerstorm. It came out of nowhere, but Hammerstorm going to get himself killed by the neutral creep. Perfect timing, because a wave of death was just about to finish him right there. So excellent job right there. Ooh, Bombardier barely avoids that arrow right there. He ran through a creep wave and somehow managed to barely not get hit by it. But a pretty solid defensive stand there by the Hellborn team. I guess so in the end they did lose the tower. But they got the kill on Forsaken Archer. That's the good thing, right? Slowing her down a little bit. Unfortunately, that's not going to slow her down. Not going to slow her down too much. Yeah, was that the only one that saw that immortal message? I just sworn it said immortal. I was like, what? No way. Nobody's an immortal yet. Speaking of Blessed Orb, Bombardier also has one. Probably not going for Geometer's Bane himself, though. More likely a Sheepstick or a Nullstone. Defiler's being hunted here at the top lane, it looks like, but she's actually going to fall back way before they get there. So yeah, we're now about 19 and a half minutes into this game. Duskman, I mean, again, they do have a very good turtle team, especially between heroes like Defiler and Behemoth. It is going to be really difficult for the Legion team to truly push in this game, obviously they want to. So that is the hope there for Duskman if they want to manage to somehow come back in this game. Oh, Fissure Stun just on the rock side, and again, man, this Korak guy Bombardier very good at reacting to those arrows, just managing to somehow not barely get hit by them. Hammerstorm placing a ward of sight there. That was spotted though, so I'm sure we'll see a ward of Revelation bot any time soon and be placed there. See the tower taking a lot of damage. Hammerstorm going to dive beyond the tower, though. Stun on it. Defy. They want a quick kill on her. They might actually get it. Dropping fast. The Slither ultimate also going to go on to her. She's going to try to pour it out before any more damage is done. Corrupted Disciple in the meantime. He's trying to focus on that Forsaken Archer. Runs into a death trap, though. But him with a decent ultimate on many, many heroes. But in the end, going to be taken on himself as well. Valkyrie also caught. And yeah, the Hellborn team just gets cleaned up right there. Without a Defy their ultimate, they cannot expect to win a team fight. They need that ultimate up to not only do the damage but scare the Legion team. She also had a double damage rune bottled up, but because of the initiation from the Legion team, wasn't able to use any of that. However, because she ported back, of course she stays alive, and now it's going to be able to defend the base tower at least, which again is going to keep them into the game for now. Doesn't want to have to use her ultimate here, obviously, if she doesn't need to, so it's going to save it. We should be able to push it back. And there we go. So able to push back. But yeah, so again, the Hellborn side, they do have that to look forward to. You know, turtle. And get Defiler and Corrupt the Disciple beefy, even Valkyrie. Ooh, somebody just got denied right there by Behemoth. That's Slither for you. Tick, 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 boom. And another Blessed Orb. That is 3 Blessed Orbs on this Legion team. Forsaken, yeah, she finished her Geometer's Bane, so she got the new Geometer's Bane. It also disjoints now, which obviously stops the channeling abilities or any ability that's going to be casted on you from actually following through. Bombardier gets picked off here at the bottom lane between Valkyrie and Behemoth. A very good pick for them. Again, if you just happen to be tuning in, I know it's going to be happening all throughout the day, so we'll try to recap. You are tuning into Honcast game replay coverage, Invitational quarterfinals happened today. So we're going to be covering 2 series today. The first series that we're covering, the one that you see right here, is xFin versus Duskman. This is game 1 in the best of the 3 series. And then the next series we'll be casting or covering is, of course, the famed EG versus SK. That should be epic, as always, especially as it was last time. So, looking forward to that. But for now, we got this series, obviously. to get taken care of. Valkyrie takes a hammer in the face. Uh-oh, dive on a hammer storm. Behemoth not afraid of that terror. Oh, but he cancels it at the last second. He runs away, puts a stun on the Forsaken Archer. And the Valkyrie ultimate actually going to be used right here. The Valkyrie Illusion's staying in. But obviously not going to do too much. And so what was a gank attempt, they end up falling back. But it did, occupy the Legion team and distract them from this top lane, perhaps. As Defiler should be able to get this tower kill. Unless Bombardier, nope, yeah, he came in but wasn't able to get there in time. Going to try to harass Defiler a little bit. But Defiler does her damage, so Defiler, not looking too bad. She actually she just went over the 300 gold per minute mark. Recovering very nicely. Of course, those 5 deaths hurting her a little bit, but again, if she gets those if she's able to use those ultimates in those team fights, it makes her very, very scary. But that is a big if. You look at this Legion side, they got a good amount of stuns. And they did drop her fairly fast the last time as well. So it needs to get a more tanky, obviously. Right now, sitting on the helmet, or excuse me, the Mighty Blade, and she has 1,000 gold saved up. So might have just bought something, actually. I'm going to put in her stash. That's a homecoming stone. What is she? She is brown. Okay, yeah, so she's going for a shrunken head. Interesting. We're just talking about the stuns and a lot of damage coming out. And a good amount is magic, so going the shrunken head route. Not too often to see a shrunken head on a Defiler, but again, completely according to the game. But it would have been great right here. Doesn't have it yet, though. A lot of damage, and again, just as I was talking about, she gets bursted down going into a team fight like that. So they're going to get away after activating his ultimate. Here we go, Myrmidon chasing. There's a Magic Carp stunning Corrupted Disciple, followed by the Hammer Stun. There's the Weed Field and Corrupted Disciple, too. He needs a shrunken head himself because he, too, got locked down right there. So xFin making it work once again. They take out the tower, get 2 very big hero kills in Defiler and Corrupted Disciple. And once again, Legion team falling back. Maybe Congo attempt. Of course, he is up. But nope, not going to go to that area. Instead, going to fall back and go for the next big item. Of course, Slither wants to finish that. I'm sure what is a Geometer's Bane. Forsaken Archer, another Blessed Orb. Fun stuff right there. So I guess going for a Null Stone. Unless I'm missing something very obvious. Oh, Frosted Skull. Frosted Skull, that's right. Frosted Skull makes more sense. I was thinking Null Stone, I'm looking at the Hellbourne team, I'm just like, I don't know why you'd really get Null Stone, though. Conduit. But yeah, probably going to be a Frosted Skull. You see Valkyrie trying to pick up her farm. She's got her own a lot of Blessed Orbs in this game. Jeez, there's just it's been like 6 or 7 at least between the 2 of the teams. So both teams, I guess, pretty happy now with sitting back and actually getting their farm on. I like to think that perhaps is more beneficial for the Hellbourne team, especially with the way this game has been going so far. But at the same time, again, going back to the point earlier, this is Legion team. By no means can they just dive onto the base. It's a very difficult team to actually get through, and they want to make sure they're beefy enough to do so. Behemoth, Portal Key, I'm sure he's working on it. He does have 1,400 gold saved up. If they, a couple more minutes of this, and perhaps he will have it getting ready for the next team fight. But the big thing is, yeah, so she's got her shrunken head now, so Defiler, I'm sure that's a sigh of relief right there. Well, actually, last 2 team fights now, she has not been able to get her ultimate up, because she just gets locked down and damage focused. You see the tower's going to start taking some pressure. The Legion team doesn't want to let them have as much time as possible, so they're going to start applying the pressure now once again onto the base, as the base tower is the only thing left, of course. Going to have to creep wave easily right there. Now pushing in. Glacius did just hit level 6. Arrow hit. 5-second arrow on Hammerstorm, followed by a silence, actually. They're going to try to initiate right here. Glacius activating the ultimate. He gets stunned, however. Down goes Glacius. Corrupted Disciple charging in. Feeling cocky, though, but he's going to start to turn around. Valkyrie locked down right there with a sheep stick. There's the Defiler ultimate, though, doing a decent amount of damage with that shrunken head up. Trying to finish off Hammerstorm right here. Trying to finish him off. Yes, the Wave of Death will do so, but barely staying alive is Corrupted Disciple as well. He's going to run back to the well. Valkyrie actually buying back right there, but again, this Defiler ultimate is scary in the Legion team, but they are going to try to push to right. The arrow hits Slither, however. He's going to drop out poor Covenant, and I'm guessing if I'm Corrupted, there he is, and yes, it is going to be enough to push them back. Forsaken Archer, though, she should be able to get away. I did not see her getting caught. Bombardier was able to port out right there. And Forsaken Archer does have a homecoming, so I'm going to try to teleport out right here. And, yes, should be successful. So, Legion team, and then did a decent amount of damage, obviously, but they weren't able to get the tower. And, again, it goes back to the Hellborn side being very turtle-like, despite not having bubbles. And starts with Defiler and Behemoth, really. So, job well done. And she will be level 16 soon. So, of course, going to be having that level 3 ultimate in the very near future, as you see some ancient stacking going on here. Got the triple stack on. Let's see that getting cleaned up now. See Defiler's farm shoot up as long as she gets the kills. Or they're just going to give it to the whole team, I guess. Whoever wants them gets them. Oh, the portal key on Behemoth, that was probably another big thing, is... Nope, he doesn't have enough yet. 1647. He did die last fight. Behemoth taking a lot of damage. Oh my god, he almost died. That would have sucked. But he does survive. Legion team, if they were to collapse on them right now, that would be unfortunate for the Hellborn team. But that isn't going to be the case. Portal key picked up on Hammer with his bound eye, so useful for not only counter warding, but the Valkyrie ultimate as well, of course. Frostwolf Skull being nearly finished by Forsaken Archer, and that sheepstick we saw earlier was actually on Slither, so he did not go the Geometrist main route himself, going the sheepstick route. Getting that bigger mana pool and having a solid CC item, which we saw last time used on Valkyrie right away. What's happening up here? Uh-oh. Valkyrie, you might be in trouble, buddy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Valkyrie. Uh-oh. Keeps running forward, and you start running backward as soon as possible. Oh, nope, that's not going to happen. Oh, my God! Oh, he actually does get out, barely. Wait, does the Sticky Mom not mini-stun? I guess you have to wait the 2 seconds, then. I honestly wasn't aware of that. Uh-oh, Defiler, she gets caught out right here, and yes! Gonna drop right there. Ouch! Wasn't even able to get the shrunken head off, and this is not looking good for the Hellborn team right here. Defiler did buy back, though. She's already back up, running back into the fight. A lot of chaos right here. Sheepstick on a Glacius. They lock him down, but Corrupted Disciple activates his shrunken head. Defiler runs back in, and now she's ready to fight with the big... Oh, Behemoth, you missed it, buddy. You missed it. That was a decent chance, but you just did not time that correctly. And they catch Slither, however, right there. And Forsaken Archer, though, runs back in with Hammerstorm. Kills happening. Defiler dropping fast. That's Corrupted Disciple, excuse me. Corrupted Disciple dropping fast, but so is Defiler, who takes out Bombardier just before she goes down. And again, xFin lives with not much life, but hey, they live. That's what matters. And they're going to go for a Congo attempt here. They do have a decent amount of damage. Not much life, though, so that's where it's dangerous. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Yeah, they're going to have to end up falling back. They get some damage. Hey, look at that, though. Regeneration sitting right there for Forsaken Archer. He's going to pick that up and regen all the way. And she must have her Frostwolf Skull finished by now. In fact, there's a glowstone. Yeah, it's being delivered to her, so... Scary. We got the Geobane Frostwolf Skull combination on Forsaken about 32.5 minutes into the game. Some more scary news for Duskman. Yeah, again, about the Behemoth Ultimate. Not making excuses, because obviously that's fine. Not a fan of making excuses for teams especially. But facts are facts. They are playing for Southeast Asia, and I'm guessing this is a U.S. West. Yeah, it's U.S. West. It's what they play on whenever they play in tournaments. So, I mean, they are used to it. It's not, but of course the latency is higher than other teams. It's usually in the 200, mid-200s, if that, so. But not making excuses for them. So this Forsaken Archer now, she's very scary. Doesn't have her split fire yet for that Frosted Skull. Doesn't matter though. But Behemoth with that Portal Key now, it's obviously last time was a pretty failed ultimate. We'll see if you can get something going this time. It's a Conga attempt happening once again. Not really. More so just tickling him and trying to bait the Hellborn team into coming in, perhaps. Sigh. Anyways. Look at this down here. Who was that? That was Pink, I think. No, I don't know who that was. Anyways, they port back up here. Ooh, Defiler activates the Shrunken Head. Hasn't used her ultimate yet, though. Valkyrie ultimate going off right there. They're chasing Mario right here on Hammerstorm, missing the wave of death. Behemoth is near them. Oh, if he can get that Portal Key, good ultimate off, but it was on cooldown, unfortunately. Corrupted Disciple already gets taken out right there. And the spread for the Legion team is really screwing Behemoth. He's trying to find that opportunity, but just cannot find it. And by now, it's definitely going to be a lot less worthwhile. And then here we go. Defiler is taking a lot of damage right there. Defiler ends up going down. Just too much damage for her to deal with, especially after that Shrunken Head is done with them. Cleanup crew right there, and it looks like xFin. They're going to start pushing through. In fact, a GG already coming out from Duskman right there. Glacius just gets disintegrated. And that will very likely do it. The yay comes out for the genocide. And yes, there's a concede. So xFin will win the game. And they take game one here in this best out of 3 series. Duskman just cannot handle it, unfortunately. Just too much pressure. Once xFin started getting the ball rolling early on, it was not going to be stopped. Just way too much push pressure, gank pressure. And Duskman cannot react enough accordingly. They are on the losing end, but again, it is the best out of 3 for a reason. So we'll be back with game 2. If it's finished yet, we'll see. Get an update on that. And stay tuned. So we'll be back with game 2 for the Game Replays tournament coverage of the Invitational quarterfinal. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.